Sabrina Carpenter is releasing a new album and many people are not happy, particularly because of the cover art. Women's organizations have claimed that this is regressive and reduces women to props, possessions, and pets. And with her young audience, promoting subservience to men isn't the best idea.
Alright y'all, so Sabrina Carpenter is in hot water right now, and it's all because of her new album cover for Man's Best Friend. Fans online are going off, saying the imagery promotes some pretty offensive slurs, and even accuses her of playing into degrading stereotypes about women being submissive to men. Yeah, it's messy. Now, if you've seen the cover, you know why it's stirring up debate. Some people think it's just edgy pop girl branding, others are calling it straight up tone deaf. And let's just say, the internet is not holding back. We're talking cancel her tweets flying left and right, TikToks dissecting every little detail, and even longtime fans feeling disappointed. But here's the question: does a controversial album cover really deserve a full-on cancellation? Or are people just taking things too far this time? Sabrina hasn't stayed completely silent, and we're gonna get into what she said, how she's defending the creative choices, and whether the internet's outrage has any real weight to it. So stick around. So here's how it all went down. On June 11th, 2025, Sabrina Carpenter came through with the big reveal. Her new album, Man's Best Friend, is officially on the way, and leading the pack is the single Man Child. But it wasn't just the music announcement that had people talking. It was that album cover. And woo, the internet did not hold back. In the now viral cover art, Sabrina's on her knees in front of a suited figure, who most assume is a man, obviously considering the album's title, and he's gripping her hair. Yep, that's the shot. Then flip it over to the back cover, and you've got a photo of a dog, literally wearing a collar with Man's Best Friend dangling from it in a heart-shaped tag. Bold? Definitely. Controversial? Oh, absolutely. And that's not all. Sabrina also popped up on the cover of Rolling Stone, wearing nothing but white stockings in a shoot by David LaChapelle. So yeah, she wasn't exactly going for subtle this era. In the interview, she made it clear she's in her no rules era, saying, "If I really wanted to, I could have stretched out short and sweet much longer, but I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, wait a second, there's no rules." She's all about doing what feels right to her now, not what others think is right or wrong, and honestly, that's her whole vibe going into this album. Now let's get into why this whole thing blew up online. So yeah, Sabrina's no stranger to pushing the envelope with her lyrics and visuals, we know that. But the Man's Best Friend album cover, it really struck a nerve. A lot of people felt like the image, Sabrina on her knees, hair gripped by a faceless suited figure, was just not it. Critics are saying it looks way too much like those old school misogynistic ads from the 60s. You know, the kind where women were literally props for a man's cigarette or cologne? Yeah, that kind of energy.
I also think it's a time and place thing. Like, you know, the guy in the White House is a known misogynist.
Right,
Women's rights are being lost on the daily. There's a trad wife movement that makes me uncomfortable. There's a submissive, put the women back away kind of thing that seems to be gaining momentum. And I wonder if this had happened 10 years ago or 10 years in the future, if I'd feel differently. And does that, as somebody who's my age, will that be the same feeling people in their 20s are gonna, like, are they even thinking about that? And do they have a responsibility to even think about that? Can they just enjoy it?
Others took it further, claiming the photo caters to the male gaze and that in 2025, there are way more powerful, evolved ways for women to express freedom and agency without reinforcing harmful stereotypes.
The satire about women looking submissive and degraded in a world where women are asked to be submissive and degraded. What is satire about appealing to the male gaze and making a literal lock screen that a man would enjoy? Here's the thing. This is what made me solidify how I feel about this today. Men love looking at everything that Sabrina Carpenter does because she's packaging it as like a very hot, like 60s housewife and visually looking like their utopia.
One person on X went in saying, "Just found out about this. Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter is a gross puppet, a mutt for the male gaze. I just know there are men behind this, but she's a grown woman. She could have stopped and refused. But she's recreating the sexualization and essay of a child, one based on a true story." Another chimed in with, "Sabrina Carpenter should be canceled for selling out the divine feminine and smutting the label of a certain Carpenter. But instead, because she said slow. And apparently, that's the same as saying infected by heavy metal. Which is the real reason for disabilities." Yeah, things got very intense real quick. But hold up, it's not all just pitchforks and cancel buttons flying at Sabrina. A whole lot of people are actually standing up for her too, and they're making some solid points.
The discourse is exhausting. So I've been hearing that for days about this cover to a Sabrina Carpenter album. And I haven't seen it because I don't care. But all this discourse like, oh, it's setting women back 100 years, this is that. And then I look it up and like, that's it? This early 90s Madonna-ass looking album cover is melting everybody's brain right now? I'm not saying you have to like it, but really? This is what we now find offensive again. This nonsense. Look, the only thing about this that offends me is the fact that he is holding her hair out like this. If you know anything about pulling somebody's hair, you pull it at the base, at the roots. You don't have proper control of her holding the edges of her hair like that. What are you doing?
Fans are saying the Man's Best Friend album cover isn't meant to glorify anything. It's satirical. Like, hello, the title is literally a play on the phrase man's best friend, and she's down on all fours like, well, a bitch in the ironic sense. Plus, the lead single is called Man-Child. So yeah, it's giving mockery, not submission. One person on X summed it up perfectly. The way people can't comprehend that an album called Man's Best Friend with cover art of a man treating a woman like a dog, BH, and a lead song titled Man-Child is clearly ironic, criticizing those things. Media literacy is dead, Sabrina. I'm sorry people are dumb F. And let's be real, some folks think people are just uncomfortable with a woman owning her image on her own terms. Some even called out how this is just a modern remix of the Backlash stars like Madonna, Britney, and Xtina used to get back in the day when they dared to be sexy and in control. Then there's the whole male gaze argument, and fans weren't having that either. One user said, saying a woman is catering to the male gaze has become a modern form of slut-shaming disguised as feminism. She has every right to show off her body. So yeah, while some people see the visuals as problematic, others see it as a power move. Sabrina calling out toxic men, flipping the script, and owning the chaos. Now, what does Sabrina actually have to say about all the chaos surrounding her Man's Best Friend cover? Well, she hasn't dropped a whole essay or anything, but she has responded to some of the internet noise, and she's definitely not ducking the smoke. When someone on X came for her with the classic, "Does she have a personality outside of sex?" line, Sabrina clapped back quick and smooth saying, "Girl, yes, and it is good." Like, okay, mic drop. Then over on TikTok, a user claimed Sabrina had referenced Lolita. Yeah, that Lolita, the controversial movie based on an even more controversial novel. People were trying to connect that to the vibes of her album cover, but Sabrina shut that down real fast, replying, "I've never seen this movie. It's never been on my mood board and never would be." So Sabrina also got real in her Rolling Stone interview about all the heat she gets for her bold, sexy songs. She was like, "It's kind of funny how people complain all she sings about is this, but hey, those are the songs you made popular. Clearly you love sex, you're obsessed with it. There's so many more moments than the Juno positions, but those are the ones you post every night and comment on. I can't control that. If you come to the show, you'll also hear the ballads, you'll hear the more introspective numbers." She even said she sometimes feels mad pressure to be funny because that's what everyone expects from her, which is kind of wild. And Sabrina didn't stop there. She got real about how women in entertainment get way more judged than ever before. She said, "I don't want to be pessimistic, but I truly feel like I've never lived in a time where women have been picked apart more and scrutinized in every capacity. I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about every female artist that is making art right now." She added how we're supposed to be in an era of girl power and women supporting women, but instead, the second a woman steps on a carpet wearing a dress, the hate and mean comments fly immediately. So yeah, Sabrina's calling out the double standards and the pressure while keeping it real about her music and how people react to it. Whether you see her album cover as bold art, satire, or something else entirely, it's clear the internet's very divided.
Propaganda I'm not falling for is the Sabrina Carpenter slander because she is eating this era up. To celebrate Man-Child hitting #1, she gave us a photo dump with more behind-the-scenes photos for not only Man-Child but the Rolling Stones cover. But with all of the discourse surrounding her album cover for Man's Best Friend, Sabrina posting this photo from the documentary Truth or Dare by Madonna is a statement because at one of the shows in this documentary, local law enforcement threatened to arrest Madonna if she performed like a virgin. And Madonna didn't change the show, and she said for her artistic freedom, she is going forward with it. But it doesn't stop there because in some sort of library/bookshop, she posts this photo that depicts children's coloring books and paper dolls right next to men's magazines. And next to that, Playboy and Playgirl, which is hilarious given all of the discourse with Lolita and some people's hyperfixation of over-sexualizing young women. Sabrina herself said she never saw the movie, it's never been on her mood board, and it never will be. She also included "I throw my hands up at the air sometimes" from Dynamite, because sometimes you gotta let go. And Silly Brina even made an appearance trying to press the push for help button. And this is officially my new favorite photo.
And now, on top of the whole album cover controversy, Sabrina's getting called out for another thing. This time, it's the lyrics in her new single, Man Child. So, in the pre-chorus, she sings, "Stupid or is it slow? Maybe it's useless, but there's a cuter word for it, I know." And it's that one word slow that's got some people online seriously upset. Critics are saying the term has a long history of being used in a harmful way, especially towards individuals with learning disabilities, and that using it now in 2025 just feels out of touch. One person on X wrote, "Why did Sabrina Carpenter need to use the word slow in the big 2025? Ignorant at best, willfully ableist at worst." Another added, "Man Child by Sabrina Carpenter uses the most ableist language, dear God." A lot of folks feel like with all the clever lyricism Sabrina's known for, she could have just picked a better word. But so far, she hasn't responded to this particular criticism. But what do you think about the whole situation? Is the criticism fair? Is the cover empowering or over the top? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. We're reading all of them. See you in the next one.